I think if you wanted to, you could argue that cringe has always been kind of an important part of my brand. Uh, I've always been sort of a mess, or extremely a mess. When I was young online, I wrote a lot of bad StarCraft fan fiction that's extremely embarrassing and horrifying. And I just sort of like look back on my early art and my early self, and oftentimes my modern self, and I go, "Ooh, this guy." Um, so my parents gave me this folder of cringe for Hanukkah, and currently it's Christmas Eve, 2020. What a year! And my girlfriend is with her family in South Dakota, and I'm not allowed to see my parents because coronavirus. And I got nothing to do. I wrote all day. I'm doing production on these short things. I'm writing a novel. I did some Glass Planets today. I do a mentoring thing for those of you who don't know. And now I was playing this fucking video game, but I'm like, that's not making something. That's not exploring something. What can I do that's like more creative? Should I work on my like Golden Goblin masks, or should I do like, what can I do that's like fun? And I was like, maybe I'll just look at this. Except for I opened it up, and upon reading maybe 2 sentences, I was like, if I read this alone, this is the last night of my life. Like the level of cringe I experienced very quickly was shocking. So this is a novel I wrote when I was 15. Just to give you an idea of the type of kid I was when I was 15, I wrote this while I was in a special education school for children with behavioral and social disorders in Connecticut, a place that saved my life at the time. I was there for about 3 years, and in that time, I wrote a lot because I had a lot of trouble in school, and I'd had a lot of trouble with sort of mainstream learning. And the one thing I sort of loved to do, the one thing I engaged with at school was writing. Except for the way I wrote, I always had an ego about my writing, which made no sense because I was 5. And there's stuff in here. My parents also got this one that's like literally the first story I ever wrote that I might do a reading of on here at some point too. I don't know if I'll leave this up. This is just, I'm just bored, but I want to experience this. So to give you an idea of the type of ego 15-year-old me had about the thing he's writing in his special school where he doesn't have access to the internet, it has a poster with fonts, and it says "Coming Soon," and it says by Max Landis. It's called Fault Line. It has a tagline. It has the other, the hemothymia, the deterrent, the vinidros, the bearer of the Ishifune. The prophecy has been shattered. A tale of good and evil and all the sticky crap in between. Oh! Ugh! This is already... Oh, God. Guys, I don't know if we can do this. A tale of good and evil and all the sticky crap in between. Surely this 15-year-old has a great grasp of the moral complexities of life as an adult on planet Earth. Whoa. And these are all, one of the great things is I'm trying to like create interest theoretically, right? But this is nonsense. These are all made up terms that I recognize one of. I have no memory of writing this. Okay, so one of the other things about me as a writer that's sort of like nuts is and this is not a flex, I've written way too much. I've written so many novels that I've lost count that I don't even remember writing in my teenage years. I don't know how many scripts I've written anymore, not counting rewrites, not counting Dirk, not counting all my specs that never sold. I didn't sell everything I wrote. I sold like a fourth of what I wrote, if that, during the height of my career. And I was still churning them out, you know, pilots and stuff. But before that, I would write short stories and I would write them compulsively. So it's this crazy thing where in my bedroom at my parents' house, if you like open drawers, I'll find like a stack of 100 illustrations for this whole comic book world. And I'll be like, Who did? It's really like, it's crazy. It's crazy to think about. It's been a wild journey. But so this is, I'm a little high, if you can't tell. I'm a little high. I had one of these. I had a Red Bull. And this joint, too, that I've been smoking, it's a giant joint. So, like, we're thriving. But if I seem giggly or smiley or weird, it's because I'm lonesome on Christmas. Okay, so see, I'm still cringe. Okay. See, this, I turned the page because I hadn't turned the page yet. And on the second page is another poster. A second poster, because the marketing team of this novel that no one has ever read other than maybe me, but I was probably not rereading. What we're about to hear is like true virgin cringe. No one's ever read this, but this one says a slacker, a psychopath, a servant of God, a superhero, a senator's daughter. Let the games begin. I'm taking L's. I mean, like, in my professional career and in my life as a human being, I've taken some pretty heavy L's. Never have they been more visceral than knowing I at one point typed on something, let the games begin. Ooh, got me there. Another coming soon. Okay, good. Okay, now it has a cover with a different font, so no brand anything. And then it says by Max Landis, and then it says no funny business. Oh my God. Just folded in here. My parents put this photo from the San Diego Zoo of me when I had my real learning disability haircut. My mom and my sister being rammed by a rhino. I have no memory of this. Okay. Okay, so what I'm encountering here is that this apparently starts with a short story called Origin, which is meant as a prologue to the novel. I was hoping the novel was all I would have to read you, but we're also going to read the first page of this story called Origin. If there's one thing I've been in my career, one thing, it is verbal about my opinions on superheroes. And this is me at age 15, already seemingly, I'm guessing from the title and the first thing, guessing this is me trying to subvert the superhero genre. So I was like probably fresh off reading Preacher, which was still new at the time, and Transmetropolitan. I think The Boys was already coming. No, The Boys wasn't out yet. But there'd already been a lot of like very subversive stuff in comics since the 80s, really. But so let's see. I'm just going to try to read this. I'm going to grit my teeth. I'm going to go straight through it, okay? I'm going to go straight through it. This is the first page. This is 15-year-old Max Landis's attempt to, I think, subvert superheroes. Oof. Gregory Perry was not happy. In fact, he was about as far from happy as he could have been. If happy was China, he was North Dakota. He pondered this analogy for a couple seconds and then continued up the street to his apartment. Granted, he'd never really been that happy. As a child, he'd been almost completely alone, except his parents and his one friend, Cynthia. They were the biggest nerds in middle school, though by all rights they should have hated each other. They quickly grew close. But as the years passed and he and Cynthia grew older, her nerdiness grew more into anger and his more and more into seclusion. I gotta say, it's not great writing, but like, I'm following it. I'm interested in the story of this fallen nerd. He turned the key in the door of his apartment complex and popped open the door with his foot, careful not to touch any of it with his bare hands. Wouldn't want to spread any of the radiation. So I'm doing Stephen King stuff now. I'm using my 15-year-old Stephen King tricks. Oh, wasn't that sentence a little weird? Didn't something weird creep into that sentence? Oh, but now the story continues, and I guess nothing was weird, but I got a little chill. I'm a little 15-year-old Stephen King asshole. Gregory walked to the elevator and pressed the button with his elbow. He was returning home from what would be his last trip ever to his neighborhood comic book store, Wonderland. That's named for Wonderland Comics in Putnam, Connecticut, which was my comic book store when I lived at the special school. Behind the scenes. As with most avid comic book fans, he was well acquainted with the store's owner. It is a kind of tradition in the comic book science fiction community that once one shops at a store once a week, they should at least know the owner on a first-name basis and say hi whenever they come in. That's true. The owners are usually slightly overweight, ranging from mildly to extremely eccentric. Most have an intensive, somewhat frightening knowledge of the comic business and comics themselves, a sort of intrinsic understanding of character and continuity. If you were to ask, perhaps, when was the first appearance of Mike Holden in the Bazaars? The comic book owner would quickly respond, well, he was first mentioned in the Bazaars number 48, but he didn't actually appear until Bazaars number 52. His Shadow Dimension clone showed up in the A Shade of Bizarre storyline, which lasted from Bazaars number 100 to Bazaars 112. He died in Croctown number 3, but was resurrected in the new Bazaars number 1. Wow, I'm liking my writing, sorry. The owner would say this while looking directly into your face and then make an indignant, somehow condescending look, implying that you, the buyer, should have known this. But I'm like describing like fair, but I'm just doing comic book guy from The Simpsons. The fact that that's a stereotype that happens to be based on my real experience is, separate. Of course, simpler fans couldn't do this, but most of the more serious among them had at least memorized the first appearance and origin issues of their favorite characters. First appearances are often the most valuable items in the comic book community. They're the issues in which a character first appears. A mainstream example is that the Patriot, Paul Weston, first appeared in The Patriot 1. So I'm making up, so even you, the reader, live in the fictional world I'm introducing. I'm referencing a fictionalized combination of possibly Superman and Captain America, I'm guessing, because that's most commonly what's combined when they fictionalize and parody that character. See The Boys, see The Pro, see everything else. This is fun, bro. We vibing. I'm very happy. I don't know how high I appear in this video. Let's keep going. Oh shit, someone in the chat said, oh shit, there's a fifth wall. And it's like, yeah, the narrator of this book just broke the fourth wall and put a fifth wall behind you. So, because he's referencing, I love when science fiction stories like that reference things like you live in the world they take place in. I always love that. Origin issues and first appearances are usually one and the same, but more enigmatic characters or villains can have appeared for 10 issues or more before the reader is finally given the inside scoop. These issues were rare, especially the older ones from the 60s, and that's why Gregory threw them in the stove and turned it on. If he couldn't have them, nobody would. His memories would die. His memories would die with him. I want to know why he's radioactive. 15-year-old me has gotten me. Should we do another page of this or go to the novel? What do you guys think? Merry Christmas. No, it's not pre-recorded, Bruno. Hold on. The fifth wall is up here, I think. Someone said, oh shit, there's a fifth wall. I don't know. I'm sure it'll find it. Okay, do we want to keep going through this short story about this radioactive comic book nerd, or do we want to jump to the novel? Okay, yeah, let's go another thing in, because so far, not much cringe. I mean, like, a lot of cringe on the way in, but the way I'm describing nerds doesn't over-celebrate them. If you're not part of this world, it might be a fun way to be introduced to them. The writing isn't flashy, which I'm grateful for, because there's nothing more embarrassing than someone trying to be flashy. and I want to know why he's radioactive and burning his comics. And I actually use the page pretty efficiently because I go like this. Nothing, something, nothing, something. Like I kind of, I'm vibing with my pacing, dogs. My girlfriend's going to watch this and be like, delete it. Gregory, age 8, runs around his mother's home. A satin blanket with a G embroidered on it tied at his neck so it flowed like a cape. Meow, says little... Well, that's not good. Meow, says little Gregory. His good friend Cynthia Hooper, who Gregory affectionately refers to as Boogerface, made him this blanket so he could play in it. He had to be prompted by his mother to say thank you. He was so amazed by the gift. And they played together. Gregory was Gage, a character of his own devising. And Cynthia was Super Cindy, another original creation, the incredible duo they called themselves. Gregory still thought that blanket was the best present anyone had ever given to him. He stared on it now, hanging on his wall, wondered if it would be donated to the homeless or perhaps claimed by one of his grieving family members. Didn't matter. Nothing mattered. Not now that it was over. He hadn't touched anyone in months, been close to anyone. Not since Cynthia. Not since the end of Cynthia. Gregory, age 14, stands in his kitchen at 4 a.m. Who's out there? He says to the door. It's me, a panicked Cynthia. Whoa. Where is this going? I'm sorry. I forgot you guys are watching. Oh my God. I forgot you guys were watching. It's not homophobic or racist. It's just a very clumsy and embarrassing description of apparently Cynthia's father is molesting her. And she goes to Gregory for comfort, but it is not written as elegantly as the rest of this. Wow. Anyway, it's extremely dark in a way I'm not comfortable with reading. But here we go. So that's what happened with Cynthia when she was 14. Gregory brought a hand up to, and now I think we're back in the present. Gregory brought a hand up to his eyes and wiped away the tears. I must be a pathetic sight, he thought, staring at a cabinet and weeping. He slid open the top drawer and peeked inside. He was just delaying now, and he knew it. This has to be done quick before I lose my nerve. This has to be done in one swift movement, no dawdling. Indeed, everything in his life came back to that. Dawdling, hiding from the real world. It would have been quite easy for Greg to just go out and meet some people. He wasn't a complete social moron or something. He was just very different. Very, very different. Gregory... 15-year-old Max just wants a friend, man. So bad. Merry Christmas, guys. Hold on. Gregory is 16. Uh-oh, is this going to be more like... Okay. Well, this is still pretty bad, but let's just do it. Gregory, 16, looks across the room at Cynthia, 16, her hair pulled up into a spiked blue mohawk. This chick sounds cool. She talks and talks. Just the preppies, you know. It's just a big Nazi-ish system designed to hold individuals like you and me down. People who dress different, look different, don't believe in God, all that. They're trying to hold us down. I don't think I dress that different, says Gregory, looking down his Scorpion Man t-shirt and khakis ensemble. But you are different, Gregory. You're very different, she says and smiles. Cynthia, Gregory says and looks down at his hands. Her walls are covered with band posters. Cynthia, I think you should stop fucking everybody. The room goes dead. There's a painful silence. Cynthia's cringe, and that was cringe. Gregory closes his, but that's like cringe, but also like sad. Like you have to take into account when this was written. So like kind of sad. This is like a sad story. I wrote a lot of before I got steadily more mentally healthy throughout my life on a slow upward arc. I wrote a lot of really dark stuff. So I'm concerned that this will be like a really sad story because I used to be a great fan of unhappy endings, but that was only because I didn't know how to end stories. That was the problem. I didn't know how to end them. So I would always be like, I'd get to the end of the second act when everything was just so terrible, and I would be like, this is so depressing. Perfect. And I'd put it down. And I didn't understand that just watching a situation get awful is not a story. And I think there's a misunderstanding of that generally in fiction. And there's a tremendous amount of stories that come out where you just watch things go bad with nothing good happening, but they don't last. They never stick around. They never stick around in pop culture either. Even a movie like Hereditary, which I love, I think will fade because of its nihilism. Most of the horror movies that stick around are the ones with happy endings. I don't know if you ever noticed that, but there's a reason Final Girls showed up in the 80s. I mean, the kid and Wendy make it out of the hotel. They fix the little girl, and the father finds his faith in The Exorcist. Poltergeist, the family escapes. Halloween, Jamie Lee Curtis survives. It's interesting to think about. Sorry, I'm off on a different one now. Okay, guys. How's everybody's Christmas doing? Hi, Brutal. Hi, everyone who's joined late. Basically, this is just, I'm reading a part of a short story I wrote about a guy a nerd who appears to have been given a dose of radiation and is now going to kill himself and destroy everything he owns. And the story appears to be a slow revisiting of his relationship with a dysfunctional female friend of his who is potentially a love interest. So here we go. We're jumping back in. Oh, sorry. I'm looking at all the chat for a second. Where's your head? He said my name. I'm having an e-girl moment. Hell yeah. Call you Zoe Jones because you're an e-girl. Where's my Postmates, dog? I think I ordered like a deli sandwich, like true Jew mode. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry I keep smiling. Oh my God. And this one's going to be unlisted. I'm going to leave it up, but it's going to be unlisted. So, oh, hey, Lawrence. Wait a minute. Are like Glass Planet people in here? That's not okay. I forget that I have like 5 brands. No. How will you respect me when I help you with your stories after you hear this and see me all goofball? Oh, Noelle says she loved me. Noelle, I put one on my Instagram. Sorry. I put one on my Instagram. You can go see it right now of Noelle. She's home and her family adopted. Me and Noelle have a cat named Gizmo who has no hair and is the best. And her family has a cat named Benny who has no hair and is the worst. And then there's a new cat named Blinks who is like the galaxy brain version of Gizmo because he's white and has 2 different color eyes. Goblin Gang, show up. Oh, who's here representing the Goblin? How crazy is it? Dude, I gotta like get my shit together for the new year because like how crazy is it? Like the Golden Goblin's gonna be putting out music. The Kryptonian Epic is gonna be sick. There's a movie you could order on streaming coming out next week if you want to, but I'm not affiliated with it. And you know, it's gonna be fun. Okay, I'm not gonna delete it. I'm gonna Gregory kills Rainier. Rainier, are you trying to get modded right now? Is that what you're going for, man? Is that what you're going for, man? Always showing up for these live streams that are like terrible. My brand is so terrible. My brand is just like old guy. Okay, Rainier, here you go. He must be a Chad version. Okay, so here we go. I dubbed thee mod. Okay, so here we go. Of course, it has that energy. Who wrote it? Anyway, so okay. Gregory closes his curtains and walks back to the cabinet. He takes out the gun, places it on the bed, and then goes to the bathroom to shave. At first, he stands in front of the mirror, thinking about his day as it happened. Oh, Jesus, does he remember? That's 5 times the lethal dose you got in you there, says the technician. Oh, God, does that mean we've got a meltdown, says Gregory. No, just a small leak. I guess you were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, buddy, says the dolefully smiling technician. Gregory pulls away from him, horrified, but the tech just moves with him so that they sit on the bench in the med lab like conjoined twins. How long? 2, maybe 3 days. Oh, God. You mind if I tell you something, mister? This radioactivity technician is like a old cartoon shoe shine guy. Hey, buddy. Hey, mister. Gregory shook his head, meaning to say, yes, I mind. Leave me alone. The tech interpreted it as an invitation. Well, I've been a good Christian all my life, and I believe in atonement. I was thinking that if I died this way, if what happened to you happened to me, I'd spend these 2 days wisely, mister. Atone for my... He's... Who? What? Atone for sins. Make your peace with the world and all that. God does have a plan for all of us, you know. Get away from me, Gregory says, and shoved the tech away. You like that? Wait, do you like that tense switch? Gregory says, and then shoved the tech away. Present to past. What the? In the comics, radiation was almost like a wonder drug. Superhero juice, as it were. It's funny because I still write in my voice, so it's so easy for me to read it. Because my beats are the same. Ugh, pathetic. When you were exposed to radiation in a comic, you never just died or got cancer. You gained some sort of superhuman ability. Have you ever noticed that I do that when I pitch? It's formatted here in a sentence. But I create a sentence that goes one way, takes a brief pause, then redirects with a semicolon. It's literally like something I do when I talk that I learned from my dad that I never noticed until this guy did this like video about how does Max Landis pitch? And then I realized, oh, fuck, I talk like an alien and I seem way too animated. And people had been telling me that my whole life, but it wasn't until I saw a YouTube video about it. It wasn't on YouTube. It was like someone did an impression of me. Anyway. Oh, yeah, it was Jesse Eisenberg in Batman vs. Superman. I'm kidding. Where were we? I'm so high and self-congratulatory on Christmas. What a dude, Hollywood's biggest douchebag fuckwit asshole. Here we go. Okay. Gregory could think of 5 big-name characters who got their powers this way off the top of his head and listed them silently out of habit. The Bulk, the Extraordinary 8, Sixer, Chrome, the Patriot, and Arachnid. Why am I creating fake comic book characters for a fake fictional universe? Is he gonna like go into a comic book? No, 15-year-old me, not even 15-year-old me is that cringe. Although when I was like 12, I wrote fan fiction about me and my friends going into the video game Creatures, where you raise Norns. It's like a genetic engineering sim. And I would post it to Creatures fan forums and just be a hideous little shit. And everyone hated me because it was like 2000. No, it was like 1998. And I was on an internet forum. I later catfished a wrestling forum in college. It's the most pathetic and weird story of my life. And I have so many. I forgot I ordered Postmates. Life just keeps getting better and better tonight. Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street, they both have happy endings followed by cliffhangers, the first 2. But both of the cliffhangers are implied to potentially be fantasies. The Freddy one could potentially just be another dream because we know Freddy to be dead. And the Friday one is a dream because it's revealed to be a dream moments after when he pops out of the lake and grabs her. Yo, do I know a lot about movies or some shit? Okay. I think that was the impression. Okay, here we go. Back end. Help! Santa has broken into my home and is demanding vodka and pills. Okay. Did I watch Vivarium? Yeah. This is the world's worst live stream. Like, truly. Are you enjoying it? I didn't catfish R Squared Circle, although I guess I kind of did. Because I post there under a pseudonym, because I don't want to post there as me for obvious reasons. So I post there under a pseudonym, and my posts get like a lot of upvotes. I did this post about the ways to beat Brock Lesnar, and it came down to scientifically the only way to beat him is you hit him in the penis or you hit him with the stairs, and those are the only two things you can do. And it got a bunch of upvotes. I post on our movies too under a pseudonym. The Toy Story thing started there. It got a bunch of upvotes. It's so fun. It's very gratifying to do things that my name is not associated with and see that people enjoy them. That, you know, like my favorite feeling in the world is telling a story and having someone enjoy it. That's like the best feeling. And that's sort of what led me, that's what the frustrating thing that led me to be a screenwriter in the public eye. And that didn't turn out great. But I always wanted to personally tell stories, you know? No one cares. No one cares. I'm going to unlist it anyway. Wait, how would I book WWE versus AEW? Honestly, I would have Cody come in, beat Roman for the world title, take the world title to AEW, then have Cody versus Lesnar. Lesnar is sent like a mercenary to fight Cody. And Lesnar destroys Cody. Should be a Postmate here. Lesnar destroys Cody, like eats him alive, like John Cena's him, suplexes him a million times. At the end of the match, right before Lesnar is about to pin Cody, Tony Khan runs down because there's been interference with Paul Heyman and shit. And of course, Tony Khan's supposed to not really be involved in storylines, but he runs down and Lesnar grabs him and the Young Bucks music hit. Young Bucks versus Lesnar in a brawl. It's a DQ. The match with Cody is thrown out. Cody, however, is too injured, but there's this crazy sequence where the Young Bucks attack Lesnar and then the entire... Thank you. Can I set it down? Yeah, set it down because I don't have my mask. Okay, have a good one. Thank you. Full rosters brawl, finisher fest on everyone, moments where characters who haven't collided, and it would all be one thing. It would be like a play at the end of the big pay-per-view because all these characters who've either never collided or it would be funny if they met, you'd want to do all of those in a row. Or guys who haven't seen each other for years and years, you know, that fucking just an epic moment with Taz and someone. Sting fucking takes out Triple H or something and you reverse that moment. But then I think the end would be Lesnar destroys everyone, wins the AEW and the WWE title, turns on both companies, and then injures Drew McIntyre, leading to Kenny Omega versus Brock Lesnar. And Omega beats him clean. Omega then has a match for the AEW title with either McIntyre, or Roman, or Seth, or Daniel Bryan, or AJ. Those would all be 40-star matches. And they win the AEW title. They beat Kenny Omega. And then the companies have a big meeting, and the two guys trade titles and shake hands. And that's it. That's the WWE AEW crossover. I just made it up off the dome. Off the dome. Yeah, obviously Lesnar's only weaknesses are penis shots and stairs, except the thing is, what Kenny Omega has is the one-winged angel, which is like getting hit in the penis with stairs, because no one kicks out the one-winged angel. No one kicks out the one-winged angel. Wow, Jesus. This is so stupid. We're just like hanging out. This is the most unlisted video of all time. What does it have? Like 60 million dislikes? I realized I don't know how to see who's watching. Oh, it's there. Oh God, it's that many people. What are you guys doing? It's Christmas Eve. What's everybody doing? I had such a good Glass Planet today. I had a Glass Planet with this woman who was recommended to me through one of my mom's friends who had heard about me, recommended this woman to me. And she's writing this drama. She was having some first act and some second act and some third act. Like, how does this all do that? And what was crazy about it is at the heart of the drama is a very unique plot for a drama about a family. And it's a very unique plot. And what was funny was during the Glass Planet, as I was helping her figure it out, I was like in real time figuring out that I didn't understand. Like initially I hadn't gotten how unique the plot was. So there was this weird period at like the middle of the session where I stopped her and I was like, wait, so they're framing the caretaker? And I remember she was like, yeah, they're framing the caretaker for stealing money from the mom. And I was like, oh, this is like one of the cooler ideas for a movie I've heard through Glass Planet. It was like, it's cool. And it's just always fun. It's fun every time. Wait, what? I'm still, boys, I'm still streaming. Is this, what are Cody Co? Like, what are their streams like? What is it like on Twitch? Are they just big idiots like me? I mean, like, dude, the Gay Wrestler musical was awesome. Holy shit, dude. Hey, Skylar. How many motherfuckers have done a Glass Planet off in the chat right now? Because that's crazy. I saw Lawrence Suba, who pitched me a pilot that had a great ending. I don't know you, Frank. I don't recognize your name. A Christmas or holiday movie? I did. I pitched a huge Christmas holiday movie. And it was really cool. Oh my God. Do you guys want to hear? I almost sold this. I was in like final rooms on this. There was like an offer, but then they were like, oh no, the animation. This was in like 2014. Oh my God, with what's his name? With the Iron Man guy. But then they never even ended up making it. And I never even got to fucking meet with him because Ron Howard got me in that room to pitch for Jon Favreau was doing a reboot of what the fuck is it called? Christmas. They stole Santa. Fuck. I'm not gonna repitch the whole movie. Wait, do I still have that file? Wait, I think I still have that fucking file. I very rarely write out my pitches or do treatments if I'm not going to try to sell. I just keep them here. But I think I do have that one. What's the story? The 70s Rankin and Bass animation with the heat miser and the cold miser. They stole Santa or something. And yes, of course, Jonathan, Glass Planet has already helped songwriters. It has helped professional wrestlers. It's helped directors, fashion designers, a lot of novelists. Glass Planet is anyone and anything, as long as you have a story to tell that you think I'll be helpful for. A Year Without Santa Claus. No, I changed the title, but it is something Santa. I have a final draft folder called Christmas Story. Oh, it's just the story I wrote for Superman. What's the title of the Santa script? This is unlisted, so there's going to be a lot of these long silences. I wish you could see my screen because I'm just scrolling through. Like, literally, I'm scrolling through literally what I said earlier, like hundreds of files. The Case of the Vanishing Santa. Fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. New stream. This one's going to be listed. Join me in a moment.